Speaking of James Cameron, another person closely familiar with the Titanic. And director James Cameron, who, in addition to his Oscar-winning movie Titanic, he's made numerous submersible dives.
James Cameron, the legendary filmmaker behind Titanic, has finally broken his silence on a topic that has kept fans and historians buzzing for decades. Cameron has now addressed myths surrounding the iconic film and the real-life tragedy. Known for his meticulous attention to detail, Cameron's insights challenge what we thought we knew about Titanic. What new secrets has Cameron unveiled? Could this change how we view one of the Titanic? Come along as we find out what Cameron revealed and why it's causing such a stir. Shocking revelation about Kate Winslet. James Cameron recently shared a surprising revelation about the cast of Titanic, and this revelation shocked everyone. He mentioned that he initially hesitated to cast Kate Winslet as Rose. At the time, Winslet was known for period dramas like Sense and Sensibility and Hamlet, earning her the nickname Corset Kate. Cameron felt choosing her was lazy casting. However, after seeing her energy and confidence in auditions, he realized she had the spark the role needed. But you won't believe how her role in Titanic brought out a hidden part of her no one ever knew existed. Kate Winslet's rise to stardom took a defining turn with her unforgettable performance in Titanic. While her portrayal of Rose DeWitt Bukater cemented her status as one of Hollywood's elite, the role wasn't an automatic fit, at least not in the eyes of director James Cameron. Known at the time for her string of period dramas like Sense and Sensibility and Hamlet, Winslet had earned the nickname Corset Kate, and Cameron was initially hesitant to cast her for fear of leaning on predictable choices. However, Winslet's undeniable charisma and spark eventually won him over. Cameron later admitted that her on-screen presence brought a vibrancy and depth that made her the perfect Rose. Her chemistry with Leonardo DiCaprio, who himself was a reluctant recruit for the film, helped create a cinematic pairing that has since become iconic. Together, they breathed life into the epic love story that captured the hearts of millions. Titanic wasn't just a career milestone for Winslet, it was also an emotionally transformative experience. She delved deeply into her character, so much so that letting go of Rose after filming left a lasting emotional impression. Cameron and Winslet shared a mutual respect during the intense production, despite rumors of tension at the time. Winslet later expressed frustration that speculative gossip overshadowed the real bond they had forged, a connection that led to their reunion decades later for Avatar: The Way of Water. The global fame she achieved brought its own challenges, and she has openly spoken about how overwhelming the spotlight was in the aftermath. Yet, her commitment to her craft allowed her to handle those tough times and continue building a remarkable career. From her Oscar-winning role in The Reader to recent projects like HBO's The Regime and the biopic Lee, Winslet has consistently demonstrated her range and depth as an actress. As Titanic celebrated its 25th anniversary, director James Cameron reflected on how lucky the movie was to cast Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio. Winslet and DiCaprio's involvement wasn't guaranteed, but their performances played a big role in ensuring the success of the movie. Without them, Titanic would have been a completely different film, one that likely wouldn't have achieved its status as one of cinema's most beloved epics. But Cameron revealed a shocking secret recently. Despite the cinematic brilliance of the movie Titanic, Cameron has always sought a deeper understanding of the Titanic's final moments. James Cameron, always striving for accuracy, recently gathered a team of experts to re-examine the sinking of the Titanic. This led to the National Geographic special, Titanic, 25 years later with James Cameron. Through careful study and experiments, Cameron was certain that his original portrayal of the ship's sinking was only half right. When Titanic was released, it depicted the ship breaking in two, with the bow sinking first and the stern rising dramatically before plunging into the icy Atlantic. The film's portrayal was based on the best information available at the time, using survivor accounts and early studies to shape its story. Cameron worked to make the visuals both dramatic and realistic, showing the ship's final moments as a powerful and haunting scene. However, in the past 20 years, advances in forensic science and underwater exploration have revealed new details about how the ship actually sank. These discoveries have encouraged Cameron to take another look at the events and update his understanding. Cameron and his team wanted to understand what really happened to the Titanic during its sinking, so they built a detailed model of the ship. They used advanced tools like special rigging, controlled explosions, and water tank setups to mimic the original ship's conditions. They even recreated different scenarios to see how the Titanic might have broken apart as it sank. The US Navy helped by running computer simulations to figure out the angles and forces at play when the ship split. One key discovery stood out. The Titanic only had to tilt 23 degrees out of the water for the stress to tear it in two. This finding challenged parts of the story Cameron told in his movie. One major discovery was about how the Titanic's stern sank. It could either go straight down into the water or fall back with a splash, but not both, as shown in the movie. James Cameron admitted the film probably got it wrong by showing the stern falling back first, before sinking vertically. After studying the wreck, he now believes the stern sank straight down. While this might seem like a small detail to most viewers, for Cameron, it reflects his deep commitment to getting every detail right. Even with these technical changes, Cameron stressed the need to remember the human tragedy of the Titanic's sinking. Over 1,500 people lost their lives on that terrible night in 1912, and the ship's story still touches hearts today. To Cameron, the Titanic isn't just an impressive piece of engineering or a movie topic. It stands as a powerful reminder of both human vulnerability and strength. He shared his hope that his work, both the explorations and adjustments, would pay tribute to those who lost their lives. As the world continues to be captivated by the Titanic's story, Cameron's efforts ensure that its lessons remain both vivid and accurate, bridging the gap between art and history and working with great directors and movie producers that have transformed the film industry. However, not all directors work well together, like in the case of Roland Emmerich and James Cameron. The reason for the argument that happened between them will surprise you. Roland Emmerich and James Cameron's tense exchange. At Comic-Con's Directors on Directing panel on July 26th, the atmosphere turned slightly tense when Roland Emmerich openly criticized James Cameron. The German director, best known for blockbuster hits like Independence Day, didn't hold back as he discussed his frustrations with the Titanic filmmaker during their brief involvement on the reboot of Fantastic Voyage. For Emmerich, the experience seemed stifling. He claimed Cameron's assertive nature left him wondering whose vision would guide the project. That doubt was enough for him to walk away. Emmerich expressed his distaste for situations where his creative freedom is compromised, noting that he simply loses interest when someone with more influence dominates the process. The remarks caught attention, especially given the stature of both directors in Hollywood. Cameron, however, seemed unshaken by Emmerich's pointed comments. When interviewed by The Hollywood Reporter weeks later, Cameron addressed the criticism with a calm detachment. He made it clear that he harbored no ill feelings toward Emmerich, emphasizing that he had never spoken negatively about him in the past. He did, however, acknowledge his tendency to be involved in projects where he has contributed to the writing. That involvement, Cameron suggested, naturally comes with opinions about the direction of the film. Cameron's recollection of the Fantastic Voyage reboot experience painted a different picture. He admitted to writing a draft for the project, but dismissed any substantial collaboration with Emmerich, claiming he could hardly remember discussing the film with him. The Avatar director recalled working closely with other filmmakers over extended periods to shape the project, but noted that if he had spoken with Emmerich, it was brief and unmemorable. Cameron's sharp memory, he asserted, simply didn't register any significant exchange with the Independence Day director. As for the fate of Fantastic Voyage, Cameron remained tight-lipped, offering no updates on its progress. The project, long surrounded by anticipation, appears to linger in development limbo. Meanwhile, the exchange between the two directors serves as a reminder of the complexities of collaboration in the high-stakes world of Hollywood filmmaking. The Titanic story continues to captivate audiences. Let's take a look at the insane movie that has stuck to the minds of millions over the world, the famous Titanic movie. The movie Titanic is a cinematic masterpiece that beautifully blends fact and fiction, drawing audiences into the tragic yet fascinating history of the ill-fated ship. While the love story of Jack and Rose is fictional, many elements of the movie are rooted in real-life events and characters, making it a remarkable retelling of history through the lens of Hollywood. Interestingly, there was a real Jay Dawson on the Titanic, though his story was quite different from the one portrayed in the movie. Joseph Dawson, a coal trimmer on the ship, had no connection to the fictional Jack, and James Cameron, the director, only learned of his existence after completing the screenplay. This serendipitous detail adds an intriguing layer of realism to the film. The movie also draws inspiration from the groundbreaking work of Dr. Robert Ballard, the American oceanographer who discovered the Titanic wreck. Many underwater scenes in the film are authentic, as James Cameron himself undertook 12 dives to the wreckage to capture its haunting beauty. These real-life elements highlight Cameron's commitment to authenticity, seamlessly weaving the ship's tragic history into the movie's narrative. But that's not all. The Titanic's interiors in the film were carefully recreated under the guidance of researchers who studied the White Star Line's original designs. From the opulent first-class dining rooms to the modest third-class quarters, every detail reflects the grandeur and stark social contrasts of the time. These efforts bring the Titanic to life on screen and mirror the exhibits at Titanic Belfast, where visitors can take virtual tours, explore replicas of the ship's cabins, and walk along a promenade deck that replicates the Titanic's splendor. The film also portrays many historical figures, including Captain Smith, Molly Brown, and John Jacob Astor. These characters provide glimpses into the lives of those who perished or survived, adding depth and authenticity to the narrative. Titanic Belfast offers a similar experience, with interactive exhibits that allow visitors to delve into the lives of passengers from different countries, showcasing the global impact of the tragedy. One of the most major moments in the film is the depiction of Wallace Hartley's band playing as the ship sank. This act of bravery is one of many heroic tales from the Titanic. The movie also portrays the Strauss couple, who chose to remain on the ship together, and Benjamin Guggenheim, who dressed in formal attire and resolved to face death with dignity. These stories reflect the courage and humanity displayed amidst the disaster. The film accurately captures the Titanic's final moments, showing the ship breaking apart as it sank into the icy depths of the Atlantic. At Titanic Belfast, visitors can experience this through a glass floor that offers a simulated view of the wreck, bringing the tragedy to life in a visceral way. The portrayal of lifeboats returning to rescue survivors, though heartbreaking, is also based on true events. But no scene is as controversial as the scene with the mystery door. It's one of the most talked about scenes in history. The Titanic mystery door. It's been over 25 years since James Cameron's Titanic hit theaters. Yet one particular scene remains the center of a heated debate among fans. The door that Rose clings to after the ship sinks. This unassuming piece of debris has become one of the most talked about props in film history. Recently, the door made headlines again when it was auctioned off for an impressive $718,000. But why has this prop sparked so much fascination and controversy for decades? Let's dive into the details. At the heart of Titanic is the love story between Jack Dawson, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and Rose DeWitt Bukater, portrayed by Kate Winslet. The two come from very different worlds. Jack is a penniless artist, while Rose is part of the wealthy elite, but their bond becomes the emotional core of the movie. This bond is tested during the film's harrowing climax. After the ship strikes an iceberg and sinks, Jack and Rose find themselves in the freezing North Atlantic waters. Amid the chaos, they manage to find a wooden door floating among the wreckage. Jack helps Rose climb onto the door, but he chooses to remain in the water, holding onto the edge. As they wait for rescue, Jack succumbs to the cold, and Rose tearfully promises to never let go. She survives, but Jack's lifeless body sinks into the ocean. A tragic end to their love story and one of the film's most unforgettable moments. The tragedy of Jack's death is undeniable, but it also raises a question that has haunted viewers since the movie's release. Was there enough room for Jack on the door? The door, which served as a life raft for Rose, seemed large enough to hold both of them. Fans immediately began questioning whether Jack's sacrifice was necessary. Couldn't they have shared the door and both survived? This question sparked endless debates, experiments, and even jokes, cementing the Titanic door controversy as a pop culture phenomenon. Over the years, numerous efforts have been made to answer the question scientifically. The most famous experiment was conducted by the show Mythbusters. They recreated the scene, using a door of similar size and conditions mimicking the freezing waters. The results showed that Jack and Rose might have both fit, but only if they balanced carefully and used Rose's life jacket to increase the door's buoyancy. James Cameron, however, was not convinced. Frustrated by the ongoing debate, the director decided to conduct his own test. Using two stunt doubles with the same body mass as DiCaprio and Winslet, he recreated the scene under controlled conditions. According to his findings, while Jack could have climbed onto the door, the extra weight would have caused it to sink just enough to make survival impossible for both of them. In Cameron's view, Jack's decision to stay in the water wasn't just romantic, it was practical. Both Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio have been asked about the infamous door scene countless times. Winslet has admitted that the door seems to follow her everywhere. While she agrees that Jack could have physically fit, she also believes that the door wouldn't have stayed afloat with both of them on it. In her mind, it wasn't just about space, it was about staying alive. DiCaprio, on the other hand, has been far more elusive. When pressed about the debate in interviews, he famously refused to comment, often brushing off the question with a laugh. His silence only adds to the mystery, fueling fans' curiosity. Fans are deeply invested in Jack and Rose's story, and the idea that Jack's death might have been preventable adds an extra layer of heartbreak. There's also the simple fact that people love a good puzzle. The question of whether Jack could have survived is the perfect blend of logic and emotion, inspiring fans to analyze the scene, conduct experiments, and even argue over it online. While James Cameron's forensic test might have put the matter to rest in his eyes, for fans, the door remains a fascinating and fun point of discussion. Whether you believe Jack could have fit or not, one thing is certain. This wooden door has carved out an unshakable place in movie history. This movie wouldn't be the same without the genius behind it all, James Cameron. Buckle up as we take a closer look at the mind that brought the iconic Titanic to life. James Cameron's life. James Cameron has a reputation for commanding respect and admiration in the industry. James Cameron, born on August 16, 1954, in Kapuskasing, Ontario, Canada, is a name that resonates with cinematic innovation and record-breaking storytelling. Known for crafting visually stunning blockbusters like Titanic and Avatar, Cameron's journey to becoming one of the most influential filmmakers in the world is as remarkable as the films he creates. Cameron's artistic flair surfaced early. As a child, he was deeply interested in art, a passion that later manifested in the iconic sketches seen in Titanic. In 1971, his family relocated to California, where Cameron's life began to take shape in unexpected ways. He studied physics at California State University, Fullerton, but his career path changed dramatically after watching Star Wars. The groundbreaking special effects of George Lucas's space epic inspired him to dive into filmmaking, leaving behind jobs as a machinist and truck driver. Cameron's entry into the industry was humble but formative. His directorial debut with Piranha 2. The Spawning in 1981 was a box office failure, but it pushed him to write his own scripts. This determination birthed The Terminator, a low-budget sci-fi thriller featuring Arnold Schwarzenegger as a relentless robotic assassin. The movie became a surprise hit, solidifying Cameron's reputation as a visionary storyteller. In 1997, Cameron delivered Titanic, an epic romance set against the backdrop of the doomed ocean liner's maiden voyage. Despite initial skepticism over its enormous budget, Titanic became a cinematic phenomenon. The film paired cutting-edge visual effects with an emotional love story between Jack, a penniless artist, and Rose, a noble young woman. The film shattered records, earning over $2.1 billion worldwide and tying Ben-Hur for the most Academy Awards won by a single film, 11, including Best Director for Cameron. Titanic held the title of the highest-grossing movie of all time for more than a decade, cementing James Cameron as more than a filmmaker. He is an innovator who consistently redefines what's possible in cinema. After taking a break from feature films, during which he explored underwater filmmaking, Cameron returned with Avatar in 2009. Set on the lush, alien planet of Pandora, the movie featured stunning 3D visuals and a compelling ecological message. Once again, Cameron broke box office records, as Avatar surpassed Titanic to become the highest-grossing film in history, earning over $2.7 billion. It also garnered critical acclaim, winning Golden Globes for Best Director and Best Picture. Cameron continued the Avatar saga with Avatar: The Way of Water in 2022, further expanding the story and pushing the boundaries of cinematic technology. Cameron once set a record for the deepest solo dive, reaching the Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench, nearly 7 miles below the ocean's surface. His groundbreaking dives were chronicled in the documentary Deep Sea Challenge 3D in 2014. From reimagining science fiction with The Terminator to creating emotional epics like Titanic and visually groundbreaking worlds like Avatar, Cameron's work continues to captivate audiences worldwide. Could James Cameron be hinting at a deeper, darker secret about the Titanic disaster that we haven't yet uncovered? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.